Welcome to our NFL Pub Hub Super Bowl edition. Thank you for joining us here on Pub Sports Radio. Season 5 of NFL Pub Hub was our best season to date. And we should start by shouting out those cappers that excelled on our program. Number one, heading into the Super Bowl, none other than Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Bobano. 125 wins and 77 losses, plus 38.83 units. He put together the finest season in NFL Pub Hub history. In second place, Salty Pete. What a revelation on our show. In his first season capping with us, he had an average line of plus 177. So he went 31 wins and 26 losses, plus 15.75 units, with the highest ROI of any capper that we had on our show, 27.63%. In third was TJ, another quality performance by an excellent capper. 38 wins and 24 losses, plus 11.92 units. In fourth, Dutch Boy Fresh, 26 and 21, plus 6.43 units. And in fifth, rounding out our top five, the Sweaty Butcher, 19 wins and 17 losses, hit some nice plus money spots, and finished the year up 4.31 units. Thank you to you five cappers that excelled all year long. Now let's talk about Super Bowl 60. My action is in. How did we get here? How did we get to the Seahawks and the Patriots? To start the year, both teams were 60-1 to win the Super Bowl. After the Patriots opened up 1-2, the Patriots were 120-1 to win the Super Bowl. And here we are, the rematch of the 2015 Super Bowl that I can remember as if it was yesterday. Let's set this enormous game up. Santa Clara, California will be hosting this, home of the San Francisco 49ers. Beautiful day expected. 64 Fahrenheit, partly sunny, 6 mile per hour winds. The look ahead was the Seahawks being 3.5 point favorites. That was the look ahead, but almost all books, and I haven't found one that actually opened it at 3.5, although I've heard there were. All the books I found, whether they were legal American books or offshores, open this up at 5 or 4.5. At this very sharp offshore I'm looking at, they opened this up at -5 for the Seahawks. That was back on the 25th of January. This moved to 4.5, a half-point move towards the Patriots after 12 hours of it being available. Then it moved back about 4 days later to a 5, and that's where we stand right now. You can still find 4.5s juiced towards the Patriots. You can find 4.5s at Pick'em. But here is a 5.5, which is just slightly juiced, -112 to the New England Patriots. If we go to Circa is sitting here with a 4.5 at a flat pick'em. They opened it up on the 25th of January at 10:53 p.m. at 5. So they've moved it a half point towards New England. They've done that with 70% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on the Seattle Seahawks. From a total standpoint here, we are dealing with a 45.5. This one opened up here at 46. Although we know of some books that opened it up at 46.5, this opened up at 46. It's now a 45.5 at a pick'em. It took 4 days for them to move it to 45.5. When we go over to Circa and look how they are handling this total, they have moved it to a flat 45. They're one of the few books that are holding a flat 45. They opened it up at 45.5. After 12 hours of this being available, they moved it to 46. It's now a flat 45 with 83% of the tickets and 74% of the cash on the under. Now that is at Circa. Overall, we have 77% of the tickets and 67% of the cash, according to Odds Logic, on the Seattle Seahawks. If we take a look at the Action Network, they have 70% of the tickets and 70% of the cash on the Seattle Seahawks. From a total side of things, 84% of tickets are on the under and 74% of cash is on that under, according to Action. They have 29% of tickets on the under, and 36% of cash on that under. So very different stories told by two different sites. Let's get into the breakdown here. The Seahawks Patriots. I have side and a team total that I have bet. But let's set this one up. The Seattle Seahawks passing offense ranked 8th. Their pass block was never ranked high all year. Finished as of now, including the playoffs, ranked 19th in the NFL. Rushing offense is ranked first in the NFL, although we do see a Jekyll and Hyde type performance from Kenneth Walker at times, which we will get into shortly. Their rush block is ranked 13th. Red zone offense ranked 14th. Third down offense ranked 14th. Pass defense, though, ranked 2nd. Rush defense 3rd. We know how incredible this defense has been all year. Red zone defense ranked 5th. Third down defense ranked 1st. They only allow conversions 32.3% of the time. Their pass rush ranked 11th. Their special teams ranked 7th. With a second-year head coach in Mike McDonald and a quarterback in his 8th year playing for his 5th team, the Seahawks have reached their 4th Super Bowl in franchise history and first in 11 years. They come off their 9th straight win, an impressive 31-27 victory at home over the Rams in the NFC Conference Final. The noise-canceled score, though, was 36-33 Rams. The Seahawks were outgained by the Rams 479-396, but Sam Darnold was excellent. 25-36 for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Jackson Smith-Njigba was phenomenal. Caught 10 passes for 153 yards and a touchdown. The focus of Christian Gonzalez and the number 1 ranked pass defense in the NFL by the Patriots will be on Jackson Smith-Njigba. So who will step up? A lot of people believe it will be Cooper Kupp that steps up, but they don't have a number 2 like they just saw in the Rams, who have a very strong 1-2 with Nakua and Devontae Adams. Let's talk more about this offense. Kenneth Walker handled the load with Zach Charbonnet done for the year. He ran 19 times for 62 yards and a touchdown. He caught 4 passes for 49 yards. As I said, at times, Kenneth Walker looks dominant. Among 55 backs with at least 75 carries, Kenneth Walker ranks 45th in success rate. Patriots right now have a very strong run defense. We've seen it look completely different with a healthy Kyrus Tonga and Milton Williams. They rank 7th in success rate against running back runs, and on early downs, they are 6th. Against the Rams, the Seahawks offense looked very good. They went 7-13 on third down, 4-5 in the red zone. We know what Darnold's MO is. He needs a clean pocket. When he has a clean pocket, he plays like one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. 3rd in EPA pass per play. When he is pressured, we talked a lot about this before the Rams-Seahawks game, Darnold drops all the way down to 28th in EPA pass per play. The Patriots must get pressure. On the season, the Patriots have produced pressure at the 9th highest rate of any defense in the NFL. The Seahawks have allowed pressure at the 5th lowest rate. Offensive line's been strong. On late downs, with 6 or more yards to go, Darnold again struggles, ranking 26th in EPA per pass play. On early downs, Darnold's a monster, 4th in EPA per pass play. And when he uses play action, he's dynamite. And Kubiak loves play action. He ranks 2nd in EPA per pass play. Now, they're facing a Patriots defense that has been excellent against play action, ranking 2nd in EPA per pass play. The Seahawks defense allowed the Rams to put up 8.3 yards per play. They did stiffen up on third down where they held the Rams to 1 of 8. The Rams did go 2 of 3 in the red zone against them. The pass rush was kind of meek. 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. Passing offense ranked 6th and pass block ranked 6th. That gives an advantage to the Patriots in both passing offense and pass block. Rushing offense, though, ranked 15th, advantage Seattle. But we know that the Patriots rushing offense has exploded in the second half of the year. And we spent the first half of the year talking about this rushing offense ranked 32nd, according to Pro Football Focus, now up to 15th. Their rush block is 17th, which gives Seattle a very slight advantage. Red zone offense ranked 22nd at 55.1%, advantage Seattle. Third down offense, 13th at 40.7%. That is a slight advantage for the Patriots. Their pass defense is number 1 overall. Well, the Seahawks pass defense is number 2 overall, a slight advantage to the Patriots. Rush defense ranked 18th. That's an advantage to the Seahawks. Red zone defense for the Patriots ranked 23rd. They allow touchdowns 60.4% of the time, advantage Seahawks. Third down defense is 9th. They only allow conversions 36.9% of the time, but we just talked about how phenomenal the Seahawks third down defense is. So advantage Seahawks. Pass rush ranked 16th. Advantage Seahawks. Special teams 15th. Advantage Seahawks. So the look ahead line had the Seahawks as a 3.5-point neutral site favorite in Super Bowl 60. And I could get the +6 at -120. I bet the New England Patriots at +6 at -120. And I bet the Patriots team total over 19.5 at -130. The Sharps are on the under. That equates, of course, to the Patriots struggling offensively. And I don't believe that will be the case come Super Bowl 60, Sunday in Santa Clara. In Mike Vrabel's first season as head coach of the Patriots, New England is back in the Super Bowl. So Vrabel, who won 3 Super Bowls as a linebacker for the Patriots, could become the first person in NFL history to win a Super Bowl as a head coach and a player for the same franchise. Patriots coming off an ugly 10-7 victory at Denver in the AFC Conference Final. The noise-canceled score was 11-7 Patriots. The weather played a massive factor in the low score as a blizzard came in for the second half. The offense did very little. It didn't have to do much, but it did very little. The Patriots have averaged 18 points per game in the playoffs. That's the fewest by any team to make the Super Bowl since the 1979 Rams, who averaged 15. But if we look at it, the statistical profile from a 20-game sample, the Patriots have an excellent offense. They rank 5th in EPA per drive and 6th in success rate. New England's offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, knows Super Bowls. He understands how to plan for a Super Bowl and prepare for Super Bowl game plans. He has 2 weeks to study and scheme for Seattle's excellent defense. Drake May was just 10 of 21 for 86 yards, no touchdowns, no picks against the Broncos. He also ran 10 times for 65 yards and a touchdown. It was ugly, but they weren't pressured into doing anything offensively. In their 3 games that they played against the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos, there was never a need to put up points ever. It was just don't make a mistake. The other team can't score on us. The Seahawks will force the Patriots to make moves offensively, something that the market has certainly not seen in the last 3 weeks of the playoffs. Matt Collins led receivers with 2 catches for 51 yards. Ramondre Stevenson ran 25 times for 71 yards. The pass rush had 3 sacks and 7 quarterback hits. Christian Gonzalez had an interception. Of course, Christian Gonzalez and Jackson Smith and Jigba will be the matchup that everybody wants to see. Both these teams were incredible on the road or on neutral sites this year. Seahawks went 8-1 against the spread. The Patriots went 7-2. Both teams have been models of consistency. Patriots are 17-3 through 20 games. Each of their 3 losses was by 7 points or fewer. Same goes for the Seahawks. They're 16-3, and their 3 losses were by combined 9 points. Their worst margin of defeat was by 4, week 1 against the 49ers. The Patriots' last 2 games produced their lowest success rates of the entire season. That's in everybody's mind. May finished the regular season first in EPA per pass play and success rate. During the regular season, he was the best quarterback in the NFL based on EPA per pass play when pressured. We know that's not the case for Darnold. May's performance under pressure in the playoffs has been horrific. It's been terrible. His EPA per pass play when under pressure in the last 3 games would translate to the worst number 4 quarterback in the NFL if it was over the entire regular season. May ranks top 5 in EPA per pass play against man zone, top 5 against single high safety coverages, top 5 against 2 high safety coverages, top 5 versus the blitz, top 5 versus 4-man rushes. There's not one single angle to attack 23-year-old Drake May. Overall this season, with the playoffs included, despite how horrible they looked over their last 3 games, The offense ranks first in explosive pass play rate. Seattle ranks 13th in EPA per pass play against downfield passes and 8th in explosive pass rate allowed. May ranks first in EPA per pass play on attempts that are 20 yards or more downfield. Now, it's not a huge advantage as Sam Darnold is ranked second. The Patriots defense ranks 9th in EPA per pass play against deep passes. It allows explosive plays at the 4th lowest rate. The Patriots have allowed 26 points across 3 playoff games. The only team to allow fewer points over 3 playoff games before a Super Bowl appearance was the 2000 Ravens, who allowed just 16 points. Let's talk about underdogs. Underdogs are 13-5 against the spread and 11-7 outright over the last 18 years. The AFC is 8-3 against the spread over the last 11 matchups in the Super Bowl. Underdogs have covered 5 straight Super Bowls, and they've won 3 straight outright and 4 of 5 outright. I do not think this game is a smash and grab for the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, I expect the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, but not by more than 6 points. I found the alt line on Bet365 was very, very appealing. The Patriots +5, -106, +5.5 is now down to -110. When I moved on the +6 at -120, that 5.5 was -112. Yes, the line's moving against me, and I'm okay with that. I'm on the New England Patriots +6 at -120. I am on the New England Patriots team total over 19.5 at -130. There are player props that I'm interested in. I find it difficult to move on player props if it's not the same unit as my action. I do like Kenneth Walker under 98.5 rush and receiving. I like Drake May over 37.5 rush yards. May might have, we expect to have success on the ground. Now he's coming off a game where he rushed for 65 yards against Denver. I don't like those optics, but Seattle allows 5.3 yards per carry to quarterbacks this season. We expect that Seattle's rush defense will shut down the Patriots, but not necessarily Drake May. I've not moved on those 2 player props. Maybe they'll be a part of an SGP. We'll be live on Super Bowl Sunday for the Patriots Seahawks. And now it is time to hear from our NFL Pub Hub cappers, who as a group are coming off the finest season of our 5-year history. So here we go. NFL Pub Hub Super Bowl edition. Thank you for rocking with us at Pub Sports Radio. And let's see what our cappers have locked and loaded to get paid in full for Super Bowl 60. And thank you, the audience, for supporting our channel, for watching our shows. And I hope you go out there and get that cash.
What's good, Pub Sports fam? We're back with one final game, the biggest game of the year, the biggest stage in all sports, the NFL Super Bowl. And I'm heavily invested. That probably doesn't surprise you guys, but it surprised me because I wasn't sure I was going to have much action on this game. The more I started to dig, the more I started to like a few positions in this game. So let's get into it. So we got the Patriots, who opened +4.5, +5, in between there, market wide. You look at Action Network, 66% of bets, 63% of cash is coming in on the Seahawks. You look at Odds Logic, 75% of bets, 67% of cash is coming in on the Seahawks. In either case, both the public and the sharps are aping in on the Seahawks. Yet the line is starting to inch towards the Patriots. It's down to 4.5 as a consensus line. That's shocking to me, given the dynamic between these two teams and all the cash flow and the sentiment coming in on the Seahawks. The total open 46, 46.5. All the bets. And now this is where you have a sharp square divide, right? The Action Network kind of reflects the public sentiment. Odds Logic reflects the sharp sentiment. Well, all the action on the public books is coming in on the over. All the action on the sharper shops is coming in on the under. And this total has dropped down to 45.5. I don't think it's going to be done there. Since 2020, line movement on the side, 3-2 ATS in the Super Bowl. Line movement on the total is 4-1. So basically what that's telling me is line movement has been pretty accurate. in the Super Bowl. Now, it's a very small sample. I don't know how much you want to put into that, but I do feel like they're taking a ton of money. These are very efficient markets at this point in the year, but I still believe we have an edge on both the side and the total in this game. We also know that underdogs priced between +4 and +5.5 have been cashing at a 56% rate, 90 and 60 ATS since 2022, since the initiation of my database. And line movement in that market is 50-50. And, line movement on a total in this price range between 44.5 and 46.5 is 58%. So I think we have a very efficient market. I think line movement is going to tell us a lot about the side that's likely to cover in this game, or the total it's going to be going over or under. The current price of this game makes perfect sense to me. The Seahawks were laying 2.5 at home against the Rams. They were laying 7 against the Niners. Now they're priced right in between those two closing lines. And this isn't necessarily a home game for the Seahawks, but it definitely favors the Seahawks being on the West Coast, being in a stadium they're much more familiar with. What doesn't make a lot of sense to me is the total. In the playoffs, the Seahawks had totals of 46 and 44 against the Rams and the 49ers, respectively. In both cases, the total moved towards the under, and both games went over. And both games, right, those were divisional matchups. That was the third game in, between those two teams. So there's more familiarity, more comfortability on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not surprised. I was actually heavily invested in the overs in those games, whereas the Patriots totals were 45, and they dropped to 41 and 42.5. And in all those games, there's like-kind defenses, right? They're going up against solid defenses, be it the Texans, the Chargers, the Broncos. Now they get the Seahawks. The only game that went over was the Texans, which really had no business going over. It took 5 turnovers to net that result. And I think the total is actually priced a little bit too high, given the the configuration between these two teams. You look at the Patriots, their path to the Super Bowl was likely the easiest in NFL history, at least since I've been capping this sport. Their strength of schedule, like I've talked about week in and week out, was 32nd in the NFL. The only 2 playoff teams they've seen all season, they went 1-2. They split with the Bills and they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers early in the season. But they're 3-0 straight up in the playoffs. They had the Chargers, who had the worst NFL offensive line I've personally ever seen. PFF has them graded 32nd. The Texans, whose quarterback turned out to be inept, 4 interceptions and 1 fumble in that game. And the Broncos, who has a backup quarterback who hasn't played an NFL game in 2 years. Now, in saying all that, yes, they played a weak schedule. They've obviously beat the 3 teams in the playoffs. But when they played these inferior opponents in the regular season, they destroyed them. Don't get me wrong. They destroyed those teams. And if you look at the defense, they got progressively better as the season went on. You got a coaching staff who is top tier, or tier 1, in the top 3 to 5 coaching staffs in the NFL, with Vrabel and McDaniels, who I think very highly of. And you got Drake May, who is 100% a franchise quarterback. He played like the MVP basically all season. He has the ability to throw it from sideline to sideline. He has elite mobility and escapability in the pocket. The question becomes, is Drake May ready for this moment? On the other side of the ball, you got the Seahawks, which has probably been one of the most consistent teams all season. Their strength of schedule is much different. Patriots are last in the league. Seahawks are 11th. And they embarrassed pretty much every inferior team they played. They only sustained 3 losses, 2 of which were against divisional opponents with elite coaching. They were able to beat the Rams twice, which is an incredible achievement. Don't get me wrong. But I do think those 2 wins, the 2 wins they marked versus the Rams, were lucky by most metrics. They have all the elements, a great football team has, whether it be the elite defense. The offensive line is kind of average, but they have elite weapons between JSN, Kenneth Walker, and they have Sam Darnold, who's turning out to be a competent quarterback. But to what extent is he a competent quarterback? You're able to win with Darnold, but you're never really going to win because of Darnold. He's not going to be really the game-changing factor for this team. So let's look at the Seahawks offense and how they match up against this Patriots defense. Vrabel is the defensive coordinator. He's the man calling the shots behind the scenes for the Patriots. And his defensive scheme has completely shifted from the first few weeks of the season, from a single high, cover 1, cover 3 early in the season, to really, over the past few weeks, it's been mostly a 2-high shell. At least they're starting pre-snap with a 2-high shell, maybe rolling into a cover 1, cover 0 look, but it's starting with 2-high. They're playing cover 2 at a top 5 rate in the NFL on a season-long basis. They're playing cover 4 above average. They're playing zone match principles with Gonzalez on the strong side of the field, which has worked out great for them. And sometimes we'll see them run a man coverage, right, with a frozen shell, 2 high safety pre-snap, and then they roll it late, cover 1, blitz, and no team has handled that well against this Patriots defense in the playoffs. And the run defense is clearly top 5 in the NFL. The regression this run defense seen late in the season was really because of injury and really nothing else. Milton was out and no Spillane. Spillane was the key variable in that equation. With Spillane and Milton off the field, the run defense is vulnerable. With them on the field, they're the stoutest run defense in the NFL. PFF has this run defense graded 18th, but I believe it's a misgrade on the defensive line, who maintain their gap integrity, who don't necessarily get off blocks, but they're not giving up line yards. They're not getting pushed back off the line. And that's why I think, they're allowing Spillane and these elite run defensive, linebackers to fill the gaps. My only concern with this defense is the pass rush, because if they're just rushing forward, they have not been successful this season. But that's why we've seen a huge uptick in blitz rate from this Patriots defense in the playoffs. Versus Herbert, they blitzed 45% of the time. They got 58% pressure rate. Versus Stroud, 48% blitz rate, 42% pressure rate. Versus Stiddy, 38% blitz rate, 51% pressure rate. So we're seeing them scheme up some blitzes. But I want to look back at this run defense, because I think it's so important to look at how this run defense is going to perform against the Seahawks. And the first thing I started to look to was what happens when the Seahawks see a team that's, ranked in the top 10 in yards per carry allowed. How have they ran the ball versus these teams? Well, you go back to early in the season when they played the Saints, where they averaged 2.6 yards per carry on 33 attempts. The Jaguars, 26 carries, only 2.3 yards per carry. The Texans, 33 carries, 3.6 yards per carry. The Vikings, 32 carries, 3.9 yards per carry. And the Colts, who surprisingly rank in the top 10 in yards per carry allowed, they only averaged 2.3 yards per carry against that Colts defense, which by the time they were playing them, they were already without DeForest Buckner. They're without their best defensive assets, and they still couldn't run the ball. I fully expect the Patriots to be able to contain Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks rushing attack. And don't get me wrong, Kenneth Walker, he's amazing. He's proven to be, definitely a top 3. I want to say he's probably the best running back in the NFL with how explosive he is, his ability to gain yards after contact. I think it's really second to none. I just see this Patriots defensive front and front 7 being able to stop the run. And I don't think the Seahawks are going to completely abandon it. They didn't. In all these games, in this entire sample, we're looking at their rushing offense against elite run defenses. They've never abandoned it. We're looking at all these games where they basically are averaging 30 yards or 30 carries per game. So they're not going to abandon it. I feel like they're going to have enough success on the ground where they're going to want to keep running the ball. But I do think that they're going to finish under their EPA per rush. And the Patriots, one of the best aspects of this defense, especially the run defense, is they're top 3 in the tackle category per PFF. Teams are not churning out extra yards after contact. When that first player gets there, he's usually bringing down the tackle. Now, this is Kenneth Walker. This is a different specimen. And then you think about the Patriots being such a great tackling team, and we watched Kenneth Walker run the ball pretty effectively against the Rams, especially early in that game. Rams are 22nd in tackling. There's a huge discrepancy and disparity between those two. I don't think the yak and the extra yards from Kenneth Walker are going to be there. Now, he's a home run hitter. He could hit a home run. Don't get me wrong. But I think from a down-to-down aspect, we're not going to see a lot of success from this rushing offense. So how about Sam Darnold versus this coverage group versus this pass defense? Well, he's going to see nothing but cover 2, in my opinion. Cover 2, man coverage, or blitz. I feel like that's the 3 where basically 80% of the snaps are going to fall in one of those 3 categories. Sam Darnold against cover 2 is his weakest. It's the weakest coverage he's seen all season long. His PFF passing grade against cover 2 is 59, well below his average. His EPA per dropback, minus 0.67, well below his season average. And why does he struggle against it? It's because so much of his success comes with play action and deep shots. And when you have a too high, when you're basically playing a too high shell with deep halves from the safeties, you're not getting those deep shots because you're getting a pressed receiver who's getting delayed off the line of scrimmage, and then you got players playing the deep half whose responsibility is no one getting beat behind him, right? There's not the deep shots are simply not there when they're playing cover 2. So that's a huge aspect of this game, in my opinion. First man coverage. Historically, Sam Darnold has been terrible first man coverage. Up until this season, even last year, he struggled. This season, he's actually performed well. But if you look at his the downs where he's had so much success, a lot of that passer rating, the EPA that he's generating in man coverage is coming from play action. And guess what? Maybe one of the most important elements of this matchup in its entirety is the Patriots' ability to stop the play action pass. I mean, they're top 10 in every conceivable metric against the play action pass. And I think that's going to play a huge factor in this game. So how about Darnold versus the blitz? I mean, really, you look across the board, he's pretty much league average. I mean, his numbers are definitely below his personal average. His turnover-worthy play rate is 6th worst in the NFL, but he's solid. I mean, he's your average quarterback against the blitz. I personally don't think this is a good matchup for Sam Darnold. You got Vrabel, you got the Patriots who are going to play cover 2. They're not playing cover 2. They're going to be blitzing, and they do not allow explosive plays. The Patriots are 3rd in the NFL at allowing the fewest explosive passing plays in the NFL. Then you got Christian Gonzalez, who I fully expect to shadow JSN from sideline to sideline. Wherever he goes, I believe he's going to have Christian Gonzalez on the other side of the field. And then you got the play action pass defense from this very disciplined Patriots defense. So I do think it's a good matchup for this Patriots defense. How about on the other side of the ball? Patriots offense versus Seahawks defense. This Seahawks defense has continued to impress. I mean, week in and week out, the only really setbacks that they've had all season was against the Rams team. And we know that Rams offense, they're very familiar with each other. They know how to, conduct the offense against defenses that they see very often. We know it's McVay and Stafford, 2 elite guys with elite options and weapons and a great offensive line. So that's not surprising. But this is probably the 2nd best defense in the NFL, right behind the Houston Texans. And they're kind of like the Houston Texans, not from the schematics of the defense, but from what they want to do. They want to rush 4. They do not want to blitz. They want to play coverage behind. They want to let the front 4 work, apply pressure, and then have their great defenders play great coverage behind them. They could stop the run with a light box. They have great talent on the front and in the secondary. Trying to figure out what coverage they're going to run is really difficult in this matchup because they do run cover 2, 4, 6, 3. They do mix in some 3 as well. So it's really hard to know what they're going to do here. And it feels like that switches based on the matchup. And I can't really figure that out. That's one part of this matchup. I don't know what we're going to see. And they're top 5 in both run D and the coverage category. They're top 10 in pass rush. This defense is legitimate. The scheme itself is for the Seahawks defense is extremely zone heavy. 2 high safety shells most of the time. They use Eamon Worry like Kyle Hamilton is used by the Baltimore Ravens. They have elite fundamentals. They're disciplined, just as disciplined as the Vrabel defense on the other side. And they're great in pursuit. They're not quite as good as tackling as the Patriots defense, but they don't need to be with how just disciplined and fundamentally sound they really are. The Patriots just played against 3 of the best defenses in the NFL and didn't look anything like we've seen all season. I mean, most of their production over the past 3 games has come on the ground, whether it be Ramondre or Drake May, basically ad hocing, using his mobility to escape the pocket and generate yards with his mobility. But Ramondre, it's pretty surprising what he's been able to do in the playoffs. Look at his last 3 games. He had 5.3 yards per carry, 4.4 yards per carry, and 2.8 yards per carry in the playoffs thus far. And the game where he posted a 2.8 yards per carry, it was against the Broncos. Drake May ran it 10 times for 6.5 yards per carry. Now, I don't think that we're going to see a lot of Drake May scrambling this game. I think the book is out, and I think that this defense is a perfect setup to stop that because they're only going to rush 4. They're going to play coverage behind him. They're going to have enough of a containment on the quarterback, knowing how mobile he really is. So the commitment to the running game that we've seen from the Patriots is so unusual because they've been such a pass heavy. All the production during the regular season came from the offense or home runs from Trayvon Henderson, who we haven't seen very much of in the playoffs. But it's looked completely like it's just completely flipped on its head in the playoffs. And it's hard to quantify because the weather was pretty bad in all 3 of the Patriots playoff games. So their offensively, they're being very conservative. They're playing against great defenses in the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos. So I think the offensive game plan is probably going to look like it has thus far through the playoffs. Focused on running the football, especially early. See how their offensive line is holding out against this defense. And then see how their defense is holding up against the Seahawks offense, because if they're not going to be pressed or pushed, I don't expect to see a lot of downfield passing, aggressive play calling. I expect to see a very conservative approach. And I do think, after watching Vrabel operate through the first 3 weeks of the playoffs, I think he believes in his defense. And I think that's where he wants to make his bet. He wants to bet on his defense and his ability to scheme. You look at Drake May versus zone versus too high shell. He really hasn't played a lot of them. I guess the most correlated spot would be the Chargers, who play a bunch of too high, cover 2, 4, 6. And he struggled versus the Chargers. But late in that game, if you go back and watch, he started to get more comfortable as the third quarter, basically as the half turned over, the third quarter began, you could see he definitely started to feel more comfortable. He made some big time throws that really sealed that victory. But if you look at him versus too high safeties, Drake May, and he's playing a bunch of bad, 32nd graded strength of schedule. So you got to keep that in mind. Take these numbers with a grain of salt, but he was number 1 in the NFL, the EPA per play versus zone versus too high safeties. How about versus zone coverage? Number 1 in the NFL in pass rating, top 5 in EPA per play. And he was much more explosive. We're not going to see any man coverage. This is the most zone heavy defense in the Seahawks in the NFL. But I do think that Drake May, it does look like a more favorable matchup for Drake May as well. Ultimately, you look at this matchup, I expect both teams to be ultra conservative, especially early in this game, feeling things out, understanding how the personnels are interacting with each other on both sides of the ball. And I think this conservatism might carry out through the entire game. Both coaches clearly want to put their card. They want to play their cards on their defense. You got Sam Darnold versus cover 2, a great run defense, great play action defense, and a great defensive coordinator. You got Drake May, who struggles, as we've seen, versus elite defenses and turnover problems. So I expect to see very, very conservative play calling. And then you pair that with what I started this handicap off with. I think this total is being priced way too high, and I think unders are the best bet in this game. And I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to trust the Patriots to cover this spread. But if you've been following me, I want to buy up this 5 to a key number. And that's exactly what I did. I think there's too many advantages just to overlook the spot, and just bet the under in this game. So I'm also going to be betting the Patriots. I got a +6 at -120. But I loaded up on this under in a couple different ways. And I also bought up to some key numbers. So I got the first half under 23.5 at -135. I got the full game under 47 at -135. And I got the Seahawks team total under 25.5 for -115. The plan is the Patriots cover the spread. The game goes under. And I believe the Seahawks probably pull it out, as I do think they're the more well-rounded team in this matchup. But that's where I sit. I'm sticking to it. It's been a great season, a profitable season, even though we ended it not so well. I believe we cash out in the Super Bowl.
Ian Cameron here for Pub Sports Radio and the NFL Pub Hub Show. It was great being part of it this season, and I'm here to give you my side, total, and player prop wagers for Super Bowl 60 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Let's start with the side and the total. I don't have an official play for the side for this game. At the opener, I did take Seattle on the money line at -220. We still see that money line price currently in that range. I don't feel totally comfortable giving out a price like that as far as an official play. I do think Seattle wins this football game. The same point in time, I do think 4.5 is a fair number. I'm not totally convinced Seattle's going to run away with this game and blow out New England. I think the Patriots are too well coached to allow that to happen. But I do think Seattle, it's just the better team on both sides of the ball, played in the tougher division this season. And I think when it's all said and done, they will make the key plays to win the game. So I do like Seattle to win. I do not have an official play for the NFL Pub Hub Show on the side. I am going to make an official play on the total. Over 45, -110, the best number in price I was able to get with the full game total. It's come down a bit from the opener. A lot of money on the under so far. But I think there could be more scoring than people expect. We obviously saw New England play in horrific conditions last week in the AFC Championship game 2 weeks ago against Denver. Wind, snow, suppressed scoring. As a result, very difficult to move the football. The weather couldn't be better for Santa Clara for Sunday for this game. The weather's going to be ideal. And when you look at the matchup with these two teams, and especially these two defenses, who's going to have success running the football? I have doubts about either team having success running the football. You've got a Seattle team that all year was ranked number 1 defensively, yards per rush allowed, and a New England team that also struggled to get consistent yards with the ground game in the playoffs. Both teams stopped the run at a very high level in the playoffs. New England didn't allow a single running back to run for 40 yards against them. And Seattle only allowed that one time, and that was Blake Corum of the Rams getting 55 rushing yards. That was the high watermark for any running back against that Seattle defense. So you've got two terrific run defenses. I think this game is going to go more in the hands of both quarterbacks as to who prevails and which team has more offensive success. And I think Drake May and Sam Darnold both might be able to have more success throwing the football than people think. Because if the run game doesn't work, how are you going to move the football? Well, obviously, you're going to put it up in the air and throw the ball maybe a little bit more if the run game doesn't work. Right now, you can get Drake May over 213.5 passing yards minus 115. And you can get Sam Darnold for Seattle over 225.5 passing yards at minus 115. I like both of those props here in this game. Drake May and Sam Darnold, both to go over their passing yards number. Again, these are low numbers. Drake May at 213.5, Sam Darnold at 225.5. And if both teams struggle to run the ball, which I suspect could be the case, both quarterbacks are going to be forced to have to throw the ball more. And I think they can both get over their passing yards numbers in this game. Two other props I'm interested in. Kenneth Walker, over 19.5 receiving yards for Seattle at minus 120. I will make that an official play. And again, very simple concept. Great pass rush of New England. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to have all day to throw the football. Kenneth Walker will be used as a safety valve, much like we saw in the NFC Championship against the LA Rams. I think he'll be involved early and often in the pass catching game and in the receiving game. And I think we will see that here. So I like Kenneth Walker out of the backfield for Seattle, over 19.5 receiving yards, minus 120. And on the New England side, I like Hunter Henry for New England, over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Seattle does struggle at times against tight ends. We might see that again here in this game. Hunter Henry was quiet in the AFC Championship game against Denver, but he did have some good playoff success before that. Weather wasn't ideal in Denver. And again, the matchup against Seattle, which sometimes does have issues against tight ends, should open the door for Hunter Henry to have some production and some success. So to recap here for the NFL Pub Hub, my Super Bowl card is as follows. Seattle, New England, over 45, minus 110. And I'm also going to recommend 4 player props. Drake May for New England, over 213.5 passing yards, minus 115. Hunter Henry for New England, over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Sam Darnold for Seattle, over 225.5 passing yards at minus 115. And Kenneth Walker for Seattle, over 19.5 receiving yards at minus 120. That's my Super Bowl preview and plays, courtesy of yours truly, Ian Cameron. I've had a lot of fun on the NFL Pub Hub show. Again, thanks to Jimmy for letting me be on the show each and every week. Great group with the Pub Sports Radio community. Enjoy Super Bowl 60 and good luck with your wagers and enjoy the game.
Got 2 picks for the Super Bowl this weekend. It's going to be under first half and under full game as well. 45.5. I'm thinking I might get 46 because the public, they like their points. They'll come in late, but I'm definitely going to be under full game, under first half. Stafford MVP. I don't care what goes on in the Super Bowl. You take care.
Super Bowl 60, ladies and gents. And then there were 2. And I got 2 plays. I've been cashing this prop all year. Know I had to do this for the Super Bowl. But it is a special game. So this is going to be a special quarterback touchdown prop. I need Sammy to throw 2. And I need young Drake to throw 1. So that's Sam Darnold, 2 touchdown passes. Drake May 1 touchdown pass plus 120. And the second one, dude, I've been saying this all playoffs. I think Seattle is going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're the better team. I think they have the better defense that does win championships. I think the game is relatively close until the fourth quarter, and Seattle secures the victory by 7 to 10 points. So give me the Seattle Seahawks -6.5 plus 118. Those are the plays. Shout out to the whole Pub Hub, Jimmy the Bag, Say Hey Jose, the whole pub. Best of luck, and I'll see you all Super Sunday.
Okay, here we go. Super Bowl 60. It's Salty Pete from the rural shores of southern Nova Scotia, Harbor Acres Cottages with you, and I'd like to share some of my looks. These are my full unit looks for Super Bowl 60. The first look I have is a defensive or special team touchdown, plus 255. I think you see what Seattle's defensive scoring for the whole season has done. I think that's the reason alone. You add on to the special teams for both of these teams. I think there's an opportunity there. DST, yes, plus 255. So my next look on this is a non-quarterback pass attempt. Believe it or not, I think there's going to be a little bit of creativity in the Super Bowl, and I think that may come via a non-quarterback pass attempt. So I grabbed that. I think it's a good opportunity to get some plus money into your pocket at plus 225. My next look was Sam Darnold rush attempts. 5+. You know, it might seem a little extreme, but it's a Super Bowl, so you got to reach. You got to reach here and there and try and find out where your angles are. The markets are so tight this late in the season. There's so few opportunities to try and find an angle. So this is one I tried to find and came up with it. Rush attempts 5+. You know, if you look at the odds on this game ending in a knee, it's -200 or 250. Yeah, -200. So that means I just kind of need like 2 rush attempts in the game from Sam. And if you like the Seattle side here, that's a good opportunity to cash out on that. And why shouldn't one of those rush attempts from Sam be a touchdown? So Sam Darnold, anytime touchdown, plus 900. You know, he hasn't scored a touchdown off the field from his own 2 feet in quite a while. That's for sure. But this is a big game. This game means a lot for everything that is Sam Darnold. And given the opportunity, I think it just might be him calling his own number here. So Darnold, anytime touchdown, plus 900. My final full unit look here was actually going to be a split, but I decided to go with a full unit both ways. So I guess it's my final two. Longest rush attempt by Kenneth Walker III was at plus 200. And the company in that special market bet, you wouldn't think in any game script would be any near to having more rushing yards than him, which at plus 200 made me a little nervous about it. So I did. I took Kenneth Walker longest rush attempt at plus 200, but then I took AJ Barner at over half rushing yard at plus 115. There's a very good chance that New England is going to be completely focused on KW3 and an opportunity for the lesser profile players to have an opportunity to get some rush yards and some passing yards. So those are my full unit looks here on Super Bowl 60. I'll be back on the next one with my recreational bets. I've got some fun stuff that I want to share with you as well. Good luck, and thanks for rolling along with Pub Hub and PSR, the crew, Jimmy, everyone in the chat. It's been a winning season, and it's been a true pleasure indeed. Greetings from Nova Scotia, and I hope everyone cashes this weekend. Taylor Fade, I hope my looks help you build a winning card.
Happy Super Bowl week, everybody. Now, for my best play of the whole entire Super Bowl, and only play, if I'm honest, because this is going to be a 5-unit play. That's right. 5-unit play for all the marbles. It's Super Bowl weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. And now, to break it down a little bit, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks on the spread. Seattle minus 4.5 points at odds of minus 123. And if you ask how I'm going to get paid, let me tell you. I'm going to invest 5 units and win back a profit of 4. Why I am so confident in this spot is because the Seattle Seahawks are absolutely a suffocating defense. Defenses win championships. Seattle can also play offense with the best in the league. We also saw that against the Rams. With every hit that the Rams gave, Seattle responded. That's why they're here. And this is not going to be allowed to be a letdown spot. I would not be surprised if Seattle wins by 10 or more points, but I'm going to be happy with 5. So, see you at the window, ladies and gentlemen, and best of luck to you, even if you're on the other side.
Pub Sports Radio, what up? It's your boy, Loshak. I think we're going to take Seattle. We're going to take Seattle this year in the Super Bowl, minus 4.5. The Pats, great team, of course. In the beginning of the year, when I was gathering my intel and just kind of like, feeling around for whatever was there, the biggest thing I caught early in the year was that there was a great vibe going on in general in the locker room and organizationally with the Pats. So I was, that's not necessarily expecting them to make the Super Bowl, but I was expecting them to be a team that, was going to be a little bit undervalued and maybe a good bet for extended period of time during the year, and that is what happened. But with those kinds of teams, a lot of times when they, college basketball as well, they have their great run, their surprising run, everything's going great, and then when at the very end of the year, when they finally go up, in the finals or whatever against a truly elite team, things kind of reverse, and they're actually they tend to be. I look to usually fade them in those kinds of situations, and that's kind of what we have here. I think, so it's kind of a lot of points for the Super Bowl, of course, 4.5, but I think that they're probably a bit outclassed. Might come early, might come late, but I think at some point Seattle pulls away enough to cover 4.5. So that's my official play. Super Bowl this year, 2026. Seattle minus 4.5, baby.
All right, guys, your boy Von Polo here, aka VP, aka KV Smell Good. I got a few picks for y'all for Super Bowl 60, man. Let's get this money, guys. I am rooting for the Seahawks, but I got some Patriots action, just to cover myself so I ain't sitting there looking stupid if the Patriots end up pulling this off, all right? So first and foremost, you guys can play it safe and take Patriots +5 at minus 110. And I did get all these lines from Bet Online this morning. So you can take Patriots +5, minus 110, or you can be like me and just take Patriots money line +200. That's what I'm going with official. Patriots money line +200, all right? And if I think the Patriots are going to win this thing, right? Clearly, I think the MVP is going to be a quarterback. So I got MVP position, quarterback -200. You can parlay that with something else. Actually, I got that parlay with Kenneth Walker, anytime touchdown, -175. Whatever you can get me on the best price, I'll take that. Super Bowl MVP, I'm going with Drake May, +230. I feel like that's good money. But like I said, I'm rooting for the Seahawks. So I did cover myself with Sam Darnold to be the MVP, and I put a nice chunk on that. Sam Darnold MVP +125. Like I say, guys, I feel like the Seahawks can win, but if they don't, I just want to cover myself, have a good time. And it's February 8th. That's my birthday, so I'm going to be at the sports book on my birthday for the Super Bowl, and I'm trying to have a good time, guys. Next up, Hunter Henry, okay? Because I feel like Seahawks, they struggle a little bit with tight ends. I feel like Drake May can get the ball to Hunter Henry a little bit. I got Hunter Henry over 39.5 receiving yards, man. At -110, I feel like that's good money. Yeah, guys, y'all can take that to the bank. Also, I have Drake May, 40-plus rushing yards at +160. Guys, that's good money as well. And then I got a fun one for you guys to end this thing off, man. Like I said, I just got a couple quick picks, man. Hopefully you guys have a good Super Bowl Sunday. You can tap in with me at KV Smellgood on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Not really heavy on X or Twitter, but tap in with me there. The last play I got, man, a little fun joint. You can get it right now at Bet Online. All right, so now they sing the national anthem, right? Okay. And at the end of the national anthem, they say, "Home of the brave." Okay. So I got a bet. I found this on Bet Online, guys, under the national anthem props, okay? Will the brave, okay, so the last word they say, home of the brave, will brave be over or under 4.5 seconds? I got the under +110, all right? So when they get to that brave, As long as it's shorter than 4.5 seconds, we cash it plus 110, man. Hopefully you guys have a great Super Bowl 60, man. Have a good Sunday. It's my birthday, so hopefully y'all send me some happy birthdays, you know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all. Shout out Jimmy, man, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of the Super Bowl video, man. So let's cash it, guys. Let's get it.
Happy final pub hub of the season right here on Pub Sports Radio. Kong's Clips in the building, coming with my Super Bowl action for this year's Super Bowl. I hope everybody has a great Sunday and makes some money. I'm going to get right into it. First things first, I'm on the Seattle Seahawks, minus 4.5. I think Seattle gets it done. I think they could potentially get it done by margin. So I am on the Seahawks here, minus 4.5 at minus 112. Fun prop I like in this game. I'm on both teams, 1 touchdown, 1 field goal in each half. That's sitting at plus 1,400 for some good plus money. I think it could happen, and I think if it does, I'm going to be there to collect some cash on the back end. I like Sam Darnold for 2 passing touchdowns, minus 108. I think that's how they're primarily going to score in this game, and I think they could put up a lot of points here on this New England defense. I like Sam Darnold first passing touchdown over 12.5 yards. Went back, did some research on this prop. Every game this season that Sam Darnold has thrown a touchdown pass in, he is 9-6 to the over 12.5 yards on his first touchdown pass of the game this season. It's a lot to take in. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's minus 113. Couple touchdown props. I'm on Cooper Kupp at plus 260. I'm on AJ Barner at plus 240. Kupp's got Super Bowl experience. Barner is another gadget guy. He can get you a touchdown in multiple ways. I'm on the New England team total under 20.5 points at minus 125. And to wrap it up, I'm on the first half tie in this game at plus 850. I think it kills all the double results. They've been shit all season anyway. Give me the first half tie at plus 850. You know what it is. Kong's Clips in the building. Appreciate you guys for having me. Have a beautiful Sunday. I'm out.
Get you guys on top like always, man. Let's go ahead and get it started. Running back for the New England Patriots, man. Ramondre Stevenson, I'm locking him in. I like him to go over his rushing yards at 50. Why? Mike Vrabel, the type of coach. Yeah, Drake May's playing great. Second-year player, though, man. Balanced team. No matter if they're up or down, I think they're still going to run the game. Trayvon Henderson, rookie running back. Ever since Ramondre Stevenson been back in the last 3 games, his rotations and his touches been limited. Take Ramondre Stevenson over 50 rushing yards. We like that in. Minus 110 to win. Now, when you look at the receivers, I got to go with my boy, JMS, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Over 6.5 receptions. Right around minus 155 up to a minus 165. Now, when you look at it, his receptions on the season, he's 4th right now on the year, 119, but first in receiving yards. Now, they don't really got a lot going on over there with the Seattle Seahawks. They got Cooper Kupp. He shows up every now and then. They made a trade acquisition for Shaheed. But besides that, the tight ends, they don't got a consistent tight end that's getting 4 catches per game or a running back like Charbonnet that's catching those receptions. This is like an auto bet for me. Jackson Smith and Jigba is how I'm getting paid on the Super Bowl over 6.5 receptions. This is the one I'm going to the window with. He's been making money for me all year. Think it's going to happen again for us. Now, when you look at the other side, Stephon Diggs, his reception prop, 4.5. A little bit lower price tag, minus 115, minus 120. Now, 85 receptions on the year, 1,000-yard season over here with the New England Patriots. Developed that chemistry with Drake May in his first year. Now, Drake May, same could be said. He don't got a really lot of targets over there that's just demanding the ball. He kind of can drop it off to a few different targets in those games and focus on those players. He does have some decent tight ends that can definitely get some receptions. But that being said, Stephon Diggs, the highlights, the bright time, the made for the game, the in the Super Bowl for the first time, he's going to show up and do what he's supposed to. And if it ain't the first time, it might be the second. I don't know, man. But I don't know if he got there with the Bills. Just take him over 4.5 to get you paid. Now, Anytime touchdowns that I like to get you guys on top, I gotta be going with Drake May, okay? It's been like plus 280. He has 6 career touchdowns. He just has that it factor sometimes when he runs it to where he knows, I know when to run the ball at the right time to get in the end zone. Now, out of all those props, let me know exactly what you guys like out of the prop shop, man. Make sure you guys have a wonderful time, man. Pub Sports Radio.
What's up? It's your boy Billy Burrs, DFS, aka at Getting Bills over on X, and we're looking at Super Bowl 60, the best time of year. Get away from your family and your friends, because we got some money to make here for the Super Bowl picks here. We're going with Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 108 at FanDuel. That same exact prop can be available at the score at plus 185. So we're going to go with the plus 185 at the score. The reason why I like the Sam Darnold passing touchdowns is because the Patriots don't allow a lot of rushing yards and a lot of rushing production. And I feel like Kenneth Walker is going to be like the trap bet for like same game parlays and stuff like that. His anytime touchdown prop is minus 200. And then I just got a bunch of novelty props. I'm not even going to quit you or shit you here. We're going with Super Bowl Gatorade color, yellow, lime, or green at plus 270 at FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going with Seattle Seahawks first scoring play of the game to be a field goal at Caesars Sportsbook. Also at Caesars, we're going with, will the last team that scores win the game? No. Plus 180 at Caesars Sportsbook. We're also going with 2-point conversion to be attempted throughout the game, plus 115 at Caesars Sportsbook. And then we're also going with a Super Bowl special here at the score, both quarterbacks to record 200-plus passing yards at plus 110. And then same game parlay here is going to be Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns, JSN anytime touchdown, and Sam Darnold 200-plus passing yards. That's plus 207 there. And then the last one, the specialty, the hedge bet, but it could be the grand slam. This is on FanDuel Sportsbook specifically as a special. Drake May, anytime touchdown, and for him to win the MVP, 1,000-to-1 odds there. And that's going to be the Super Bowl card for me this week. It's going to be Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 185 at the score. Yellow Gatorade to be poured, I guess, at the end of the game, plus 270 at FanDuel Sportsbook. Seattle Seahawks first scoring play of the game to be a field goal, plus 150 at Caesars Sportsbook. Will the last team that scores win the game? No, plus 180 at Caesars Sportsbook. 2-point conversion prop. Either team to attempt a 2-point conversion, plus 115. Super Bowl special. Both quarterbacks to have 200-plus passing yards, plus 110 at the score Sportsbook. Same game parlay, Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns, JSN anytime touchdown, Darnold 200-plus passing yards, plus 207, FanDuel Sportsbook. Make sure you guys have a good Super Bowl.
All right, Pub Crew, we're finally here. The Super Bowl is the big one. I only have one bet. I'm on the over 45 at minus 110. Wanted to see a 44.5. Don't think I'll see it before the Super Bowl. If I do, I'll bet it again. That is my only bet.
And let's talk Super Bowl Sunday. What I am attacking here is first half total of 22 is what I'm isolating. I need this line to stay at 22 and close at 22. And we will move on this. We love the under here, boys and girls. This is going to be an under. I got a decent sample size here. Really good matchups, really good teams. A couple shitty teams in the mix, but good variation of spread. But I also have spreads that close at this 4.5. If the 4.5 changes, the 22 might change. But we're going to stick to this analysis at a closing first half total of 22. And we're just going to take the under. Full game under for sure if this line closes at 22. And in this sample size,
I'm going to be over. I'm going to be all over a first quarter under 7.5. I'm actually kind of surprised that's still juiced to the over. I'm not going to worry about that though, because we still have some time. This line is going to tighten up and they're going to take some more action. But that's what we're looking at. Is I have a lot of results to the under. The dog, it's not a good day to be a dog. Neutral court, Super Bowl, so you're getting some interference from that, I would suppose. But yeah, in this position, man, the favorite gets it done. Spread goes either way. I don't want to be on a full game spread here. I'm looking at a coin flip to the full game spread. Again, closing right where we're at right now. But that's about it, boys. Let's fucking go. Pub Sports Radio. Fucking pleasure as always. Last report of the year from parts unknown. I'll catch you guys in the Discord. If this line changes, I mean, we're still going to watch it and endorse the under, but we want this thing to tighten up right where it's at. And I'll have action on the under, and I will text it out in the Discord exactly what I get. Hopefully I can catch like a 110 or a 108 in the mix, boys. Fucking let's go.
And what's up, Pub Sport Radio? Jimmy the Bag, Jose Buquet behind the scenes. Babano taking the #1 prize on Pub Hub, man. It's been fun to be part of Pub Hub as much as I could this year. Love rocking on the show. Been in the top 5 most of the year, man. That's been a blast. And been doing it with 10-point teasers. 3-team 10-point teasers, 9 and 2 on Pub Hub with what I've been giving out. 70% I hit those in my personal action this year. And no better time to take one of these in the Super Bowl. I know people have been breaking down this game. You've heard from all the cappers on the show. You've been watching several shows. I'm not going to break down the game. I'm just going to give you my action here, nice and quick. This thing's been bet into all week long, week and a half long, even longer if you talk about futures. And so I'm going to trust the books here. I'm going to take a 3-team 10-pointer. We're going to go both sides of the total. So sitting at 45.5, that means we're going over 35.5. We're going under 55.5. And I'm going to rock with the side on the Patriots. If they lose in this game, so be it. I don't believe it's going to be by 14.5 points. So we're going 14.5 points, both sides of the total, 10-point teaser, -120. Thanks for showing the love all year long. Smash the like. Can't wait to see you guys at Pubapalooza.